Season 2 of Beyblade X just continues to heat up with the reveal of 2 new releases. The first being an almost perfectly circular Ghost Beyblade, and the second being an evolution to Cobalt Drakw. We thought that Cobalt Drakw was the evolution or variant to Cobalt Drakw, but that may not be the case. So hit that like button and hit subscribe to join the Nook Nation. We're trying to hit 350,000 subscribers. But now let's move on to the most important news of all, of Impact Drakw. So we just got pictures of the upcoming December Beyblade X releases. One of those is a random booster, which for the most part looks to be kind of an L with everything that's included, but the new circular Ghost Beyblade is interesting, but we'll talk about that later. We're gonna start with the most exciting news of all, with Impact Drakw. So this one is definitely really interesting from a gimmick and also a name standpoint, but let's go ahead and look at the box first. We can immediately see that it is a deluxe starter, so it's going to be coming with a special launcher of sorts. And the launcher that's included here is a monochrome black and silver and red right spin string launcher. Yes, right spin string launcher, because for some reason, this bay is a right spin release. I don't know why. If you guys want to get any of these upcoming releases in Impact Drakw or Ghost Circle, definitely go and check out sponsor of the channel, Mall of Toys. They're going to have pre-order listings up for these bays really soon, and they have an entire catalog of other X releases. So go and check them out, link in the description down below, and use code ilinnuc for 5% off. But let's look at the actual Beyblade itself with UX11 Impact Drakw. And this bay just looks incredible. Just looking at the design and the details first, there is just so much to look at. First off, we have the 4-bladed shape, definitely very similar to Cobalt Drak's original shape, but this time it's all in an unpainted silver metal. And let's just address the elephant in the room, which is Impact Drak's gimmick. With Season 2 of Beyblade X, all of the UX bays have had a new gimmick kind of built into the blades. For example, Night Mail had the metal balls, Samurai Saber had the little wings that would pop out, and the gimmick for Impact Drakw is rubber impact points. You can see all over the blade, you have these lighter red color rubber details, and those red details aren't just there for show, they are the red rubber attack areas, which Takara told me is going to push as making your bay more aggressive. It's going to make the contact and the impacts more explosive. But whether or not that's actually real or just marketing mumbo jumbo, we're just going to have to wait and see. And moving on to the rest of Impact Drak's combo, we don't have any pictures, but we know what the combo is. For the Ratchet, we have 960, which isn't a new piece at all. It's definitely really competitive, and you're probably going to be using it in your competitive deck at some point. But, you know, it's not a new piece, which kind of sucks. I wish we would have gotten something new. At least 960 is good. The bit, though, is definitely way more exciting because we have LR, or Low Rush. Now, Rush is already one of the best attack bits in the entire game. Obviously, it's one of my favorite parts in all of Beyblade X. It's just really good. So having a lower and more aggressive version of it is going to be really nice, whether it's for Impact Drakw or even for existing combos like Shark Edge and Dran Buster. It's going to make your bay potentially attack the ratchets of other bays a little bit easier, and I'm just really excited to get it and test it out, and I assume it's going to be a more expensive part to buy on its own. But overall, Impact Drakw looks incredible. It looks super heavy. I like the more Cobalt Drakw inspired design, and I also like the rubber gimmick. I just don't understand why they made it a right spin release. Cobalt Drakw was the original, and it split off into Cobalt Dragoon, and now we have Impact Drakw. So it's kind of like they split into 2 separate lineups, a left spin and a right spin one, which is kind of cool. I I'm not against that. If it did really split into two separate lines, a left spin and a right spin evolution line, then that means we should be getting a UX or even a CX variant to Cobalt Drakw. So if you have any ideas for that, let me know in the comments down below. And now let's talk about a kind of interesting random booster. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't like this random booster much. We don't know much about the parts, but just looking at the bays and the color schemes of the bays included, I'm just not that impressed. But looking at the prize bay first, we have Ghost Circle. Now, Ghost Circle is a mainly pink and blue bay, which I like the color scheme. It's definitely unique, but the main gimmick here is that it's circular, and it's also gonna be kind of small as well. Think around maybe rhino horn in size. So it's really round, but it's really small, and I assume it's gonna be pretty light as well. I'm just not super excited for this bay. I don't really care about super round releases, and it looks like it'll be more gimmicky than anything. Now, the rest of the combo is pretty interesting as well. For the ratchet, we have 060, and this is the first zero-sided ratchet we've got in all of Beyblade X, but it doesn't look like it's going to be just perfectly circular. It looks like it's going to be kind of a scrape problem. It's also going to be pretty wide as well, so I don't think it's going to be some amazing stamina piece. There's always some sort of drawback. And then for the bit, we have GB or Gear Ball, which is not a new part at all. It's not a part that I ever use, but maybe it fits the bay, I guess. And now let's just really quickly go through the rest of the random booster. First up, we have a green recolor of the Ghost Circle bay, which once again, I don't love Ghost Circle, just off my first impressions, and I like the pink prize color scheme a lot more. But this green one kind of looks like that green ghost from Ghostbusters, so that's kind of cool. Then after that, we start the cycle of bays pretty much nobody cares about, starting with a blue recolor of Shinobi Shadow. Once again, Shinobi Shadow is like the lightest UX bay ever released. Nobody ever uses it, like ever. It's just not a bay people use or talk about that much. And getting it in a blue recolor, I don't really care. I also just don't really care about the next recolor, which is a neon Gatorade yellow Leon Claw. I'm not a Leon Claw hater, but it is a really old blade. We've gotten a few different recolors of it already, and I just don't care to get another yellow one. The next bay, though, is definitely a lot more interesting. We have a dark recolor of Phoenix Feather. Phoenix Feather is not the best competitive bay out there, but you could only get it from Koro Koro Comics like a year ago. So the fact that we're getting another way to get a kind of hard to get blade, I'm okay with that. And I like this darker color scheme. And the final bay in the random booster is a red and sort of blue recolor of Wyvern Gale. And Wyvern Gale is just one of those releases that I just don't care about. I never even did an unboxing of the random booster. It's just not one of those bays I really care about. But that is going to wrap up the news. What do you guys think about Impact Drake? What do you think about the perfectly circular Ghost Circle? Let me know in the comments down below. But I will see you in the next one. Have fun and bay away.